Okay, good evening. Welcome to Supremacies. Uh, um, Parshas Vayera, right? Amazing. Okay, so we're holding by the story of the Sophisticate and the Simpleton. And let's take a quick look here. The, just one second. That's not what I mean to do. Hold on, give me a second. All right, here we go. All right. So we said the story of the Sophisticate. The Simpleton learned how to be a shoemaker. The Sophisticate didn't want this kind of profession because it's not cool. And somebody as special as him really should be. So, first of all, he go to Warsaw, which means he gets into business. Sit, wait a Hashem. So we'll get into business, give tzedakah, whatever. Next step, he goes from Warsaw. It's kosher, it's good, it's far, it's difficult, but nevertheless. So he tries to, establish a business in Warsaw, to work for someone. He had to work too hard. That wasn't for him. He said, why do I have to work so hard? This is just for the tachlis, for the goal, and, it's too early for me to worry about that. So let's just let this go for now. And he travels to Italy. Italy symbolizes the physical lusts. It's Rome, Esav. From Italy, he travels to Spain. Spain signifies or represents philosophy. We mentioned that the Jewish, the golden age of Judaism in Spain was typified by, being steeped in philosophy. And that was it. Rabbeinu spoke, very vehemently against that. I'm sorry. And as long as a person is in Italy, as it were, there's a chance, when the fire of the temptations, subsides a little bit, the person will get to think, what am I doing? What is this? What life is about? But once you go to Spain, you get into philosophy. Once you get into reasonings and explaining why, at that point, you are already into the justification. Now it's about it's a principle. There's a cheshbon in it. And that's already the road to perdition already starts when he decides that being a shoemaker, simple avodas Hashem is, it's not befits somebody as special as he is. So then he says, something. Okay, now comes time to consider what to do, consider life's goal. He decides to learn a skill, and he works with his philosophy. What's the right thing to do. They say, okay, the first thing is to working with gold. That's his first idea. Well, so Bigdusha, this is a great thing. Working with gold is amtokasadinam, but if you don't sweeten up the dinam, you don't fix what needs to be fixed. What you get is the psoilas, you get the refuse of the gold, and then the gold becomes a goal on its own. And he said he was so talented that within a quarter of a year he got the skill, and he was better than the one who taught him. He says, okay, now I can work with gold. I'm a goldsmith. Maybe one day that wouldn't be important. It wouldn't be prestigious. So he goes and he learns how to be a gem cutter. And gem cutter, Bigdusha, obviously this is finding the good Nakuda in every Jew. There's a tremendous avodah. But when it's done shalom lishma, it just gets you away. Shows you what everything is wrong with everyone, as we'll notice later on. He says, okay, I already possess these two skills, but who knows, perhaps neither of them will be considered prestigious. It would be good for me to learn a profession that is always esteemed, and he sought with his intelligence and his philosophy to learn medicine. That is something that is always in demand and respected. And in the course of learning medicine, it is first necessary to learn Latin and writing and philosophy. Because of his intelligence, he learned this in a short time, a quarter of a year. He became a great doctor and philosopher, and he wise in all kinds of wisdom. The world started to appear as nothing in his eyes. You're so good at what you do, and everybody else is a joke. Everybody's just a light. I mean, this is a great trap that we fall into. We tend to look at people. that seem to be, simple people, humble people. And, we paid the lip service of saying that, obviously, they're special and everybody's special, but in truth, we are sort of like grateful in our own hearts that we're not them. That we are smarter, that we are more sophisticated, we're deeper, we're more talented. Look at them, I mean, we don't say it, of course, because, either that would be racist or whatever it is that we want to call it. But ultimately, the name of the game is that why did we get to look at them, to look down upon them like that? The answer is that when we first took a look at ourselves, when we first looked at the world, from the moment go, very, very early in life. You know, it started as what we seem to think that is a necessity, you know. At a very young age, suddenly we realized that we were just not good enough for the world the way we are, you know, like a child that is, you know, that is laughs when he's happy and he cries when he's unhappy and he hugs when he loves and he whatever, you know. The world was great, you know. You wake up in the morning and you get a good taste in your mouth and everything is. Then suddenly, at a certain age, suddenly we became smart enough to realize that we are not just good enough. We're just not good enough the way we are for the world. We discovered that the world is really indifferent to us. The world was going on different set of rules. Something else was going on. There was society. There was life. That was, and we took a look, and we realized that we had to adjust. Because we thought that we had to adjust. We have to adjust and acquire a mask, some kind of a projected image. Each one did whatever he did. Some were jokers, some were, you know, intellectual, some were, you know, according to whatever it is that we figured would be prestigious. You know, either a goldsmith or a gem cutter or a doctor. We basically adapted these masks with a distinct outlook and intention of being prestigious, being considered sophisticate or important. A lot of the time we did it because we didn't want to be trampled on. The one thing that we did not want, at least some of us, you know, we didn't want to be one of them. Them are the losers, you know. Societal losers. There could be losers because of ethnic belonging. There could be losers because simply they were not bright. They could be losers because the family dynamics in their homes were such that they felt that they're rejected and worthy of rejection and became hooked on rejection, you know, afraid of it and hooked on it at the same time. So some kind of self-justification. And we started collecting more and more masks. They changed as time changed because we grew. And at a certain point in time, they hardened, you know, into a hard shell until we got to believe that this is who we are. This is who we really are. We believed our own story. Funnily enough, we have no idea what somebody else thinks of us. We have some notions, we have some evidence, but we are in nobody's head to find out what it is that they think of us. But the thing that happens is that we create such a chasm between the avatar, the persona that we have created for social consumption and got to believe in it ourselves. And as a result, in society there's the have and the have-nots, So I sort of like wiggled my way into the haves, plus minus. And then I have the have-nots. And I'm jealous of all those who have impossibly, unreachably more than I do. It could be Gashmis, it could be Ruchnis, it could be anything. And part of the whole satisfaction of the societal game, the social game, is that there are losers. What are going to be? What good are we if we don't have anybody to be better than? When do we actually find ourselves, looking at the have-nots and whatnot, and actually realizing that as an intelligent and low, inferior as they might be, each and every one of them lives a complete life with a specific goal, or why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put them in this world. They're not actors in a role of the down and outers, the have-nots, the losers. They really have a total complete life, the way that I have a total complete life. And the reason why this, when you think about this, when you realize that, when you hear about it, when you talk about it, it seems so obvious, duh, of course. So why is it so difficult to actually crack that smugness, that superiority smugness from my own mind when it comes to people who are, in my mind, less than me in any way, shape, or form? It makes me jealous of all those who I feel that I am inferior to. And I don't just feel inferior to them, but basically condemned to be forever inferior to them. This is the road. This is the road of the sophisticate. This is the road of the sophisticate that is looking for, what would be prestigious, what would work, what would be considered prestigious. The result is that everybody, for him, he was so talented. Everybody was nothing. But being that we're special, but we're not that special. So we have classes, people that are superior and people who are inferior. We make all the right noises. We say all the right things. But deep within us, the farther away we are from innocence, from simplicity, the more we are victims of that smugness. So comes the question, okay, so what's wrong with that? Okay, that's the way I am. No, who cares? I am, I figure that everybody is a nobody, vis-a-vis me. So what? No, still have my role in life, whatever. So the story continues, and this is what Rabbeinu says. Everybody in the world was like nothing to him. And he thought to himself about settling down and marrying a wife, saying to himself, even this was in order to do something, what will people think of me? How will it look? What kind of wife do I have? If I marry a wife here, who will know what has become of me? Let me go and return home so that they can see what I've become. That I was a small boy, and now I have come to such greatness. And he went and traveled home, and a lot of suffering on the way. Because of his sophistication, he didn't have anyone to speak with, nor could he find an end to his lacking. And he suffered tremendously. The ultimate nekuda is that when you get to this point that you don't have anybody to talk to, you couldn't find a hotel, that will be to his likings, and he had a lot of sufferings. He suffered a lot. Here, Rabbeinu teaches us an astounding lesson. When a person has suffering, when a person does not get along with his surroundings, it's a siman that he has chokhmas. It's a siman that he has he's wiser than anybody. He is smart, and as you will see later on, the tam, the innocent, feels very good about himself. The sophisticate doesn't have this nekuda. If the sophisticated had this nekuda of feeling good with himself, about himself, he would look for the good in everybody else. But the chacham doesn't have that. The sophisticate doesn't have that nekuda. That's why he's filled with yisurim. He's suffering all the time. He's looking around him and he doesn't see anybody to talk to. Who can he learn chavrusa with? He could never find even a hosting, a place to be that is fit him. Why? Because everywhere where I look, I find what's wrong with it. There's not a mechobedik enough place to sit. There's not sort of a place to sleep. Here the faucet may be broken. He is angry about this. He's angry about that. The innocent, the Tom, can feel good at any situation. What we mean to say that this entire world is basically a hotel. We are on the road now. Because Baruch Hu rearranges the world every single day the way that he knows it has to be. And we are all guests in this world. One day, the dushpiza, the achsania, the hotel, the lodging goes keseder, and a person can daven b'chavona, can learn the way it is. He feels, wow, the world is great. And one day it goes shalok keseder. I can't daven, I can't make his beidadus, I can't. It all boils down to the inability to take things as they are. Now, this is not just something that comes in order to put us down. That is not the nikuda. The nikuda is that we need to learn this to understand that for us to have a siman how far we are from where we need to be. If we are unhappy, it's not because reality is not good. It's because we lack the emunah to understand that reality is A, always good, and B, is always what it needs to be. It's almost like, we are all inside our own minds. We're basically prisoners of our own brain. We never went outside, as it were. We are living in a virtual reality. We tell ourselves stories in our minds. We are told stories about people. We have no idea whether they're right or not. We believe our lying eyes and our lying ears, and we form this, this really social causes, whatever. And we know exactly who are the bad guys. And it's not us, obviously. It's somebody else. And we are all the time, forever, in misery. There is one clear transmission that comes from above. It doesn't come from the eyes, it doesn't come from the ears, it doesn't come from all. It comes directly from above, and that is the koyach of emunah. Emunah is in our DNA. Emunah is the inner core of who we are. We got it from Avraham Avinu. Our unhappiness is a siman of how far we are from where we need to be. Not that things are bad. Things are not bad. I told you, I have a friend who was a world beater in almost any way you wanna picture it. I mean, handsome, gorgeous, charisma, guts, vision, uh, tzidkis then, and success, and he was in an accident years later. A couple of years ago, a few years ago, he became sick with Yenemaisa, and it's under control, Baruch Hashem. And because of the accident, the story that I already told before, he had tremendous pain and like electric thing from his back, severe bulging discs in his spine. He had operations, 3 of them, and Baruch Hashem, he has no pain. But he has basically he's lost use of his hands and his legs, and he is going through physiotherapy, and slowly he regains use of his limbs, and he is happy and serene. He's Mikuruv to Rabbeinu. He has put a lot of effort and koyach and nunsachomim. And he lives a good life. Somebody has to be with him. Somebody has to take care of him. He cannot clean himself. Somebody has to do it. Every morning he wakes up, they taking him to the invalid mikveh in Bells, all over the water, he tovels, goes to Dav Basikin, makes his Beidus during the day, learns, and you speak to him, and he is like, fine, everything is just great. How does he do that? The answer is that the further out we go from who we are, from our emunah, from believing that we are who we need to be, exactly the way we need to be, and we, the further out we go, I'm just who I need to be, but just a little bit better here, and a little better there, and a little here. What happens is that around us, there is a cyclone. There's a storm wind going around. In the very, very middle of the storm, there's what they call the eye of the storm. It's an area where the peace and quiet are legendary. The sun shines. Everything is perfect. The minute you are who you are, the minute you are good enough the way you are, actually the storm protects you. But the minute that but maybe that's not good enough. Maybe it'll be considered better if I did this or I did that or whatever. The minute that happens, I become unhappy. It becomes impossible for me to be happy because I'm all the time dependent on what's going on with me. Any kind of unhappiness, including my own unhappiness with my things that are physical, physical, psychological, whatever it is. I mean, supposedly these are like objective realities. They are all an outcome of I'm off center. I thought that I could get ahead of the game if only I did this, if only I did that. We have to find a way back home. This is where the tzaddik is. In the story itself, not just the shiurim that we learn about it, not just this, but in the story itself lies the refuah. As we read it, as we learn it, we are getting more and more healed if we let it. It takes time. We can feel very despaired by saying, like, I already live this life of the sophisticate. How on earth am I ever going to become the Tam? I'm already caught up in the storm, in the cyclone. I don't handle pain very well. When I don't feel well, I'm miserable. And I don't have the mental, whatever ability to take it lying down, or bad choice of word, but whatever. How will I ever make it to be the simpleton that the Shem will learn next week about how he was? The answer, and with this, without the Shem we will end, the answer to this is the way you are, the way I am, is also good. In other words, being not good, not feeling very well about who I am and the way I am, is okay. It's not that in the world. Being a Tam about my sophistication is my mission for Tmimus, for simplicity. What I'm going to do now, emulate myself or beat myself up for not being a tzaddik, not being a mekemir shecht, that's not my role. That's not my tikkun. My tikkun is that I am who I am. Not very happy with who I am. But I realize, that this is what I have to work on. And in the meantime, it's fine. It's fine. Some people are very unhappy about the fact that they are not doers. They don't get up and they don't get up and do it. They're not movers and shakers. Okay. Yeah, but when will I finally be? Why would he finally be? When will you ever? Never. Okay, so you continue. This is who you are. That's the way you are. Be tmimisdik about the fact that you're not tmimisdik. Fine. make his beidus on this. Because when your heart will tell you these things, you'll realize you'll regain your peace. As long as you hear from somebody else, you say, "Oh, wow, this is like an amazing sheer, man. I appreciate it so much. This is amazing. This is like, wow, great." But it's not yours because you haven't heard it from your own heart. When you talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when you're making his beidus, when you talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about this, your own heart tells you that, then you will accept it. For a short while, then you'll come unhappy again. You remind yourself, all right, that's who I am. It's okay. It's more than just okay. You are exactly the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted you to be at this point in time. And this is the whole point of Yiddishkeit. The whole point of Yiddishkeit is that you need to be at the point where you need to be at the end. It doesn't matter what the road there looked like. As we learn in Sichas Harana Motzei Shabbos, the Yisurim that a person has because he sinned against HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives life. They give life to a person. Yisurim that a person had because he doesn't make it and so forth, and the things don't go the way he wants it, shorten the life. But Yisurim that, why did I do this? Why did I behave like that? These are Yisurim that come from Yis Shemayim. This is when Hashem Yisborach gives, it's an amazing thing to have Yisurim that I behaved like a pig. And I did. B'ezrat Hashem will learn a little bit more next week. On Wednesday, B'ezrat Hashem, 8 o'clock, we have Likutei Moharan Torah Chaf Beis. On Thursday, in Breslov Medrash, we learn 8 o'clock, that is Torah Lamed Daled. And Motzei Shabbos, Sichas Haran, Sipur Baal Shem Tov, and so forth. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to learn with you tonight. And B'ezrat Hashem, the day after tomorrow, wherever we'll come, we'll meet again.